Yes, a lot of our customers start with what we call an open top drum. It's just a steel drum uh, on which you can remove the lid, and you fill it with 20 or 30 gallons, and you put a heat band that is worth about $300, and you're good to go. So you can do maybe one or two wheels at a time. And a lot of guys have started this way because it's a lot smaller, it's a lot cheaper. And then what we like to see again is going from the drum tank to the four-wheel tank.
Today, it's all about saving time in restoration. That starts with stripping. But guys, are you tired of getting chemical burns, or even worse, exposing yourself or your employees to harsh chemicals? Is this just something you've resolved thinking, that's just how this business is? This man is out to change your mind. He says his cleaner chemicals and new waste recovery system, you can reduce your company's environmental footprint. You'll have less waste, fewer accidents, and a cleaner environment to work in. Let's hear from Martin Pageau, president of Greensolv. Martin, welcome to the show. How long have you been working for Greensolv?
Hi, Kim. Well, I've been working with Greensolv since 2002 when we founded it with my father.
And what do you do, or what do you like most about your job?
I guess I like everything, but I like selling and developing, research and development, and also trying to help customers. That's probably my favorite part, making them save money, do more wheels or refurbish more parts, and and grow their business.
So where is your company based?
We're based out of Montreal in Canada. That is about 6 hours driving distance straight north from New York City.
Okay, so the story behind Greensolv is that you developed something it kind of got started with when you had a call from a client from Japan, correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's even before the company was founded, maybe 5 or 6 years before, in my father's previous company.
And I don't know how much you can disclose about that, but what was it that I guess they just wanted to solve a problem, right? I mean, how did they?
Oh, they wanted a non-dichloromethane or non-methylene chloride. It's the same thing, paint stripper, a gel paint stripper though for wood surfaces. So we got to it in 1994, and a couple of years later, we had finished the product. It's a gel. Again, it's for wood surfaces and desks, and we've been selling to the Japanese company for the last 25 years. And that's actually how we started Greensolv, with one customer in Japan, pretty far from Montreal. And then we went into paint strippers.
So now you have what's called a closed metal paint stripper system. Can you kind of tell us what that is exactly?
Well, it's a long-term objective. We're not that far already, but what we want to do, what we want to achieve is no environmental footprint. So no fumes going to the atmosphere. We would like to capture them all, recondensate them, and put them back in the strip tank. And also the rinse water, would like to treat it and release it to city sewer with no pollution whatsoever, and even reuse it if we can. Same thing with the paint stripper itself and the paint sludge. Would like to reuse them. So I have nothing coming out of the paint stripping system, and that's what we believe is the future. So low environmental footprint and low consumption, achieving more with less.
I think that's great. And I think what I like most about what I got out of your website is your core values. It's something that I can stand behind as far as a custom coder, and doing more with less is definitely, and being able to reuse chemicals is the most important thing. But, it seems like you're really there to stand behind your clients.
I mean, out of all those core values, which one do you think is the most important?
If we get 5 core values, the first one is protecting the environment, being a valuable partner, then always promoting excellence, innovation, and creativity. And the last one is creating wealth for our customers, our employees, and also for our community. We like them all, but protecting the environment and being a valuable partner is probably the 2 ones that I prefer. I like to help customers do more. And also, if we can be in synergy with the environment while not affecting it, and I think it's a win-win.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, I'm watching your YouTube video right now, the one you have about the alloy wheel stripper, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about who is your customer. When you watch the video, you can see they're doing a lot of rims. I'll make sure to put this YouTube link, and all the links about Greensolv in the episode, so you guys can follow and watch along as well. This seems like these guys seem like a really busy coater. Are they stripping powder coat, or are they stripping the liquid coat, like a painted finish on these wheels? I mean, is there a difference, or can you do both?
Oh, yes, you can do both, and they do strip both. Although we're very lucky when we started. This gentleman, Peter, he's the biggest wheel refinisher in Canada. They do from 100 to 200 wheels a day in 24 hours. And when we approached them, they were using the dichloromethane paint stripper. And sometimes the wheels would take 48 hours to strip, especially the German ones. So we worked with them. And then it's been about 12 years now that they've been using our system. And it's very reliable, predictable. So that was a great entrance into the market. That was our first customer with wheels. And for the last 12 years, we've been trying to improve the product, improve the process to make it better and cheaper for our users. But our main customers, they're either custom coaters. I'd say 90% of our customers, either custom coaters or wheel refinishers. And whether it's powder coating or OEM finishes from BMW, Mercedes, or it would be a Ford, the product is very good. I mean, it takes from 60 to 90 minutes to strip a wheel.
Yeah, that's pretty good timing. And I mean, for small custom coaters like us, where it's just maybe 1 or 2 or maybe 3 guys, that's kind of what can make or break, the cost or the overhead. And, I know you have this cost calculator on your website, which kind of helps determine, but I think, I know that your product can be kind of costly, but I know that, if you're thinking about hiring someone, to just strip wheels all day long, I mean, where do you find the value in that with the cost reduction?
Indeed, with any other method, stripping is very a tedious job. It could take anywhere, if you're sandblasting, it's 15 to 45 minutes per wheel. Even if you're chemical stripping, you need to stand behind the strip tank, or if you do it by hand, it could be 15, 20, 30 minutes per wheel even. With this system, we average about 1 or 2 minutes per wheel. So you just dump them in the tank, you close the tank, you walk away either for the night or just for an hour and a half, and then you come back, you take them out, and you rinse them. So it pretty often saves a job of 1 or 2 employees if you want to strip, say, 12, 16, 20 wheels a day or even more. So you save a lot of labor. And also, because we reuse the same chemical over and over again, the price per wheel is very cheap. It's about $2 versus the, say, dichloromethane, the cold stripper, could be up to $5 or $6 a wheel, or even more if you buy that gel paint stripper from the local store.
Right. And I think that most custom coaters, when they're looking at this, they're just looking at the face value of cost to get into stripping, right? I would say on average, introductory to buy that chlorine, the chemical is probably, and a strip tank and all of that is probably around $1,000. But you still have to deal with the muck. You still have to deal with cleaning up and everything, and you still have to hang out by the pull it out and do all the cleanup and stuff. But what you're saying is if you're thinking about buying an employee, this cost would replace that because there's less work involved. I mean, other than the general maintenance of your system, right?
Indeed, much less, because you put those four wheels in, and then you go do something else, and then when you walk back to the tank an hour and a half later, they're stripped, and it takes really 30 seconds to 1 minute to clean them, and they're stripped clean. There's no scratching, no scrubbing, and it's perfect for powder coating. Some powder coaters, if they want to achieve very high quality, they'll brush blast the wheels, a sandblast, quick, maybe for 2-3 minutes. But other than that, there's nothing to be done on the wheels. You can recoat them right away. About 50% of our customers blast the wheels, 50% don't blast the wheels. But it's just a quality issue. But overall, stripping the wheels versus I've seen a method that's very popular in America is burning the wheels with a torch at 3,500 degrees. And that does not achieve good quality because you only burn the face, you get paint all over and then you need to sand for 10-15 minutes. So stripping down to bare metal, you achieve the best quality one can get with powder coating.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, I mean, I know that people are like, well, if it's the long term, then fine. Yeah, it makes sense. But in the short term, it doesn't. But I think that if you're considering hiring somebody at $20 an hour to do this, or you don't want your employees to be around all these harsh chemicals or yourself, you may want to consider maybe getting or looking into this kind of a system. And I think that in terms of the environment and stuff, and that's kind of where the whole system is going anyways, to kind of get away from these harsh chemicals, at least the saving the environment and saving yourself from all of the troubles of using these harsher chemical stripping methods. It's kind of where the industry is going. Do you want to talk about trends in the industry and stuff?
Everything tends to be regulated right now. Even your rinse water, your like air pollution. In California, they're pretty strict about that. So there's only a certain amount of VOCs you can send to the atmosphere. So we're trying to look at all the regulations and work with them instead of doing our own thing and trying just to make money. We try to offer our customers a solution that's good for with all the regulations, so they don't have to worry about that. And I spend a good amount of time just reading those regulations, would they be in America, in Europe, so what's coming, and also, but the trend is clear: use less and pollute less, and do more if you can.
Yeah, I think for custom coaters, if you're in it for the long haul, you may want to start thinking in that direction if you haven't already and transitioning, because I agree. I think that's exactly where it's going. Now, you have on your website, and I think it's on your products page, there's kind of, you have different types of chemicals products for different industries. I'm not sure what the variance is or the difference is between the aerospace or the rim or powder, the different kinds of products that you have, because you have for different areas and different, like you've got wheel strip, aluminum strip. Do you have to switch it out? I mean, or can just, if you're a custom coater, maybe you do wheels one day, maybe you do some other part another day. I mean, how do I have to change out the chemicals for in my system if I do that?
No, actually, they're pretty universal. We got only 3 different chemicals. We got the steel strip, which is good only for steel, and cast aluminum and stainless steel. But the most popular one is the aluminum strip or wheel strip, depending. It's the same product. And you can do aluminum, magnesium, steel, stainless steel, pretty much any type of metal, copper, zinc, so a big variety of metals. So you don't need to change the solution. And the aerospace version, the third one, is the same thing, but just it meets the aerospace specification for corrosion, which are pretty strict. So only 3 products: Aerostrip, Alumistrip, and Steel Strip.
But they're all relatively the same. Okay, that makes sense, because I mean, if you had to change it out every time, that would be kind of costly. But you can pretty much just pick one of them and then stick to it. Now, you guys tell us about how the testing works, because you need to maintain a certain level in order for the system to stay at peak performance. How does kind of get into how that happens and how the maintenance of the system works?
All right, that's a good question. Actually, we when we sell a drum, we like our customers to be using the most out of it, to be achieving more with less, stripping a lot of wheels with one drum. As a comparison, you usually strip about 100 wheels with a 55-gallon drum of cold stripper dichloromethane. With ours, you can strip 10 times more, about 1,000 wheels. How do we achieve that? Is by monitoring your stripping solution. We want you to never dump your chemical solution. It's expensive. So we want to get the most out of it. So what we do is that 2 or 3 times or 4 times a year, we'll go to your shop, grab a sample. Of course, we'll shake your hands and pretty often bring some donuts. But we'll grab a sample that we'll bring back to the lab and then analyze it. And we'll tell you what to do to correct it. So, and that keeps, so we can keep about 90% efficiency. What we like for our tanks is for our customers is that the chemical is predictable and reliable. It always takes about the same time to be stripping a wheel. And we want to maintain that over 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. So, and we've got customers for the last 12 years, they never dumped their tank. That's because of the test that we do in the lab.
Right. That's pretty good. So now we went out into the community on Facebook and we started to ask some questions like what are some of the questions you'd like to ask Martin from Greensolv? And one guy reports that he would like to make his tank longer. 44 inches is 6 inches too short for a full set of 4-wheel tank. Now, does he have an older set or an older model? What happens? How do you change the size of the tank?
Oh, yes. We've been making tanks for about 6 or 7 years now. And the first tanks, they were 45 inches long. Now we make them 48 to compensate for that. And also, instead of 24 inches, they're 26 inches wide. The wheels are getting bigger and bigger every year. So indeed, unfortunately, the tanks that were made like 4 or 5 years, 6 years ago are a bit smaller. So sometimes they won't fit the new wheels that are 22 inches or 24 inches, and sometimes 30 inches I've seen. But we do have also a 6-wheel tank that is a stretch tank. It's pretty good for custom quarters because you can do a motorcycle frame, bumper, or pretty much anything you can think of. The length is 72 inches, and it's 26 inches wide. Just a bit bigger than the 4-wheel tank, but it can accommodate the longer parts. Yeah.
So if you bought something that was smaller and you wanted to upgrade to a larger tank, do you have some kind of way to help these guys turn in or trade in and get a bigger model?
Yes, of course. Good question. Again, we give the face value, exactly the price you paid for your 4-wheel tank, even though it's 5 years ago. We'll give you 100% face value against the new tank. So that is, and also we'll recuperate the tanks because even with our tanks, we want to close the cycle. So we don't want to leave the tanks out there to be rotting and corroding. So we'd like to take them back, refurbish them, and resell them if we can. So yeah, we give 100% face value for changing your tank. And we like that to see when a customer started with a 4-wheel tank, he goes to a 6 or an 8 because he grew his business. There's nothing more, nothing better to see, actually, to see a customer grow.
Yeah, I think that helps with the pricing too, because when you can trade up or trade in or whatever, I think that kind of helps ease the burden of the cost. Now, how does someone, I mean, what's the entry level price for, say, a 4-wheel tank? And what do you have any costs, pricing structures to make the, like a payment program, or how does someone buy your system?
This is our system is probably the lowest using cost in the industry. However, there is the capital investment to be made at first. So if you want to buy a 4-wheel tank, say it's about $9,000 plus the chemical. So you're looking at the starter kit, the smallest one, for about $16,000 shipped. Now we got 2 payment plans. Sorry about that. We got 2 payment plans. Normally, we either offer the 8-month plan, so you pay 20%, and 6 months at 10%, or we offer a 30. It's like a leasing system. We include all the chemicals for 3 years over 36 months, and we split the payments. So it's a lot more affordable, and pretty often the monthly payment will be cheaper than what you were paying if you're using any other method. So from day one, you'll start saving money, and a lot of money, and do more at the same time. A lot of our customers were stuck at 10 wheels. Stripping 10 wheels a day was a tremendous amount of work, so they had 1 or 2 employees working at it. Now you get 1 4-wheel tank, and you can do twice as much as that with no employees, or maybe 2 or 3 hours a day of labor to strip the 12 or 20 wheels a day.
Yeah, that's a good program. I think that'll help ease the burden of getting into the product and using it. For those that are even smaller, that maybe need don't even need that much, like a 4-wheel tank. I mean, can you somehow set them up with something at home that they can sort of ad hoc?
Yes, a lot of our customers start with what we call an open top drum. It's just a steel drum on which you can remove the lid, and you fill it with 20 or 30 gallons, and you put a heat band that is worth about $300, and you're good to go. So you can do maybe 1 or 2 wheels at a time. And a lot of guys have started this way because it's a lot smaller, it's a lot cheaper. And then what we like to see again is going from the drum tank to the 4-wheel tank, which is the 4-wheel tank needs to be UL certified. It needs to be well insulated, which you won't have with the drum, but at least you'll be able to strip.
Yeah, I think that's a great entry level. I know it's not advertised on your site or anything, but it certainly, most of the coders out there are used to just kind of putting it all together and doing it on their own. And so this kind of helps them get into that entry level without, and saving their skin and everything else for that matter, on their own as they scale up. Like, so tell us about it's now made in America.
Yes, actually, in order to reduce our carbon footprint or environmental footprint, we decided to ship from America to America rather than ship from Canada to America. So a lot less miles per freight, to carry the drums. And also it's important to us to buy locally and for our customers to buy locally. So there was a few good reasons to start a shop in the Pennsylvania area. And eventually, if we can, we'd like to have the same type of facility in California and Texas. So it'd be a lot less miles to ship to customers. And also we want to have a proximity service to see our customers more and more often. For the same reason, we hired a nice young gentleman, Matthew from New Jersey. So he can see all of our customers in that region, which we have a lot of customers in the Boston, New York, Philly, Washington area. So he can go see them more often. So same purpose as the toll blender in Pennsylvania, made in America and less miles.
I could see us taking the 6-wheel one because of all the automotive bumpers and stuff like that,
Yeah. But on the other end, you can flip them aside. I didn't talk about the oil, but we get an oil seal that we put on top. It's like a lid, but it's chemical lid. So it's like oil and water. So it stays on top. So again, it's to reduce evaporation. And I got to tell you, the first time we sold that to we have a large powder coater here. He does all the big, the 150 employees, and they got 4 lines and the whole 9 yards. Anyway, so they bought the oil, and it was a good customer. But when we sold them the oil, their consumption went down 30% because it really cuts all the fumes. There's no evaporation. So it's like shooting ourselves in the foot, but then it's better for the customers. Okay, one happy customer will tell another and another, and that's our mentality. So we sell a product that cuts ourselves, but hey,
yeah.
So you could turn around the parts. If you have a whole bumper, you do one half, you leave the lid open, but you get the oil, so no evaporation, and then you flip it around, and you can do it in 2 shots.
Yeah. So like, I forgot to ask you about the smell. Is there any kind of smell involved?
Yes, there is. Not as bad as the regular paint strippers, but you need ventilation. If you don't have any, because it's at 180, so yeah, it fumes. And the oil will solve most of your problems. It will reduce fumes by 90%. But still, you do need a ventilation. But what's fun about Hawaii or Florida or California or those hot places is that you can just put a hole in the wall and put a fan that blows it out. Very easy.
Right.
A lot tougher in Canada or Boston or Oregon, where you have to.
Right.
You don't want to throw the good heat out in the winter, so you need a better ventilation system that can cost up to sometimes $10,000. While in the South or in Hawaii, it's probably $500 investment. Just a hole in the wall and a wall-mounted fan. So a lot easier.
And yeah, I mean, that's kind of why I wanted to talk about your system, because it's just nasty when you get those burns and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's pretty often the first thing. The people that use the dichloromethane, more famously or infamously the B17 from Tennessee, they usually show me their forearms and show me their burns. Say, okay, I got burns all over, and they're kind of proud of it too, even on their legs and their forearms. Say, okay, this is all the burns I got from paint stripping. Oh, that won't happen again. I would not suggest you put your whole hand in it, but if you get some, I get some on my hands all the time, and it doesn't burn at all. The worst you can get is maybe redness after some hours. But anyway, your hands will be sticky if you get some on your hands, so you'll probably want to wash your hands anyhow. But even though you would have some product on your skin for 1 hour, it wouldn't do nothing.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I think I was just kind of looking at how often you maintain.
The sludge.
The chemicals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, indeed. The maintenance needs to be done every 2 months or 3 months, 4 months. It depends how much parts or wheels you're stripping in a day. But yeah, you need to top off always with brand new chemical to compensate evaporation and drag out. And also, eventually, you got too much paint in your solution. So you want to empty your tank, remove the sludge, and then put the liquid back in and top off with new chemical. So that's the only maintenance you need to do for every second or third month. And that should take about 30 to 60 minutes. So not a lot of maintenance on the tank. Other than that, you just keep on topping off with the solution. And you're an happy stripper.
Yeah, I think that, there's only so much you can say on your website, and it's hard to convey everything that you're saying here, because it just seems like there's, just by being able to talk to you really helps let others know what can't be conveyed via the website. You know what I mean? And just getting down to the nitty gritty of, why you should buy this system, or why, is this system right for you,
Well, the amount of work that you do, because stripping is probably 50% of your work.
It is. Yeah, definitely.
So if you remove all of it, then you can do twice as much.
Right. Definitely.
And do twice as much money.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay. All right.
I'm an engineer, so I'd like to prove everything on paper. So if I can't prove you, I'm going to save you money. don't bother buying. But it's easy to prove.
The price calculator really helps, I think, get people kind of changing their mind, when they start to look at it. And I, probably could have talked about it more, but I think that really, just having a calculator on there lets people know that you're willing to, you've done the hard work for them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. One of my good friend, also our first customer from Long Island, he was doing 800 wheels a night, the biggest refinisher in America. And he told me he burns the wheels, but he'd like to chemically strip them. And he told me it's more expensive to burn a wheel, much more expensive. And the quality's not there. The only reason he's doing it is because he doesn't have enough space, and it's a bit faster. Is he can have like 4 guys burning wheels. But if you stop burning these wheels, and then you can destroy them at the same time while burning them. So there's many downsides to burning wheels. And that's not talking about what you're breathing. When you're burning a wheel with a torch, you're breathing out that isocyanate, which is probably 30 or 40% of your paint. And that is not good. I've seen the guy here painting some aircraft. They need a full suit, induced air, when they're dealing with isocyanates. And that is when you apply it. So when you're burning it, that's going to be so toxic. So the guys are doing it all day long.
I didn't even know people were doing that. That's crazy.
No, they're torching. We call that singeing wheels.
Mm-hmm.
All the big guys in the U.S. are doing that, but it's so nasty. The quality is very, very bad. Is you only burn the face, and then you need to stand for 15 minutes, and then the barrel is not stripped, and the inner barrel is not stripped, or the inner face is not stripped neither. So nothing is stripped except for the outer face. And then you sand it by hand for 15 minutes, and then you recoat it, but it looks shitty, and it's very low quality.
Yeah.
But hey, it's fast. That's the only advantage, because just the price of gas, acetylene and oxygen, is more expensive. Is the same price as the chemical. So then you don't have any quality.
So, okay, well, that's great. I think we've covered a lot here. Is there any, I would say that if you're considering hiring another person just to strip parts, this may be a better solution for you instead of hiring someone in order to save money and costs of having an employee. Being compliant, if being compliant is more important to your company's values or strategic goals, this is definitely a company that you should try to start to work with, because they're all about that. And working with a company that'll help you get there. You guys are totally behind your customers, because you're not from just selling them a piece of equipment, but you're actually coming back in, you're checking with them, you're sending, you're testing the chemical from now and again to make sure that they're at peak performance. What's not to love? Is there anything that you'd like to tell the listeners? Just one last thing that you want to drive home today with the interview?
Well, the only thing that makes us happy is happy customers. If they're happy, we're happy. And we're trying to do everything we can to help them save money and strip more and do more with a green touch.
That's great. Now, where can your company be found? What's your website, Instagram? Are you on Instagram, phone, email?
We're on Instagram, on Facebook. Instagram is Greensolv_Inc. Facebook is under my name, Martin Pageau, Pageau. Our website is greensolv.com with no E, green like color green, SOLV like Victor.com. And my email is mpageau@greensolv.com. And I answer every single email that comes to my box.
And every phone call, because this was the second time that we interviewed today because I forgot to hit the record button. So thanks again for putting up with me, Martin. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I think you're changing my mind about stripping. That's for sure. I hope you have a great day. And to all the listeners out there, I hope you're leveling up your powder coating game, and maybe interviewing with Martin today has helped you see a new path to stripping. Have a great day. Aloha.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Kim. It was a real pleasure.
You bet, Martin.